Hey booktube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and it's the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's gonna be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and continued support. I really do appreciate it. As you can see from today's title of video, this is another installment in my Birthstone recommendation series, and we are talking all about the April Birthstone of Diamonds. So if you have a birthday in April, or you're just obsessed with diamonds, or you're secretly the diamond in the rough, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking about these books. Okay, so if you've been following this series at all, I try to match my dress to the birthstone. Since most diamonds are kind of transparent, this is the closest thing I have that's sparkly enough to represent a diamond, but I am rocking all of my diamonds today. So there you go. That's just to get that out there. So this will follow just like all my other recommendations videos. I will go into the breakdowns of the stone, how it got its name, its location, its creation, its uses, myths, and folklore, and recommend books based off of those. So let's get started. April's birthstone is the diamond. You guys are diamonds in the rough. You all know this. You have the craziest fucking weather. Like sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's spring, sometimes it's summer, sometimes it's, we don't really know what the fuck Mother Earth's doing. So people who are born in April, you're rock solid. You're rock solid, okay? Literally. And I love this because the diamond, which is your birthstone, is the hardest natural material on Earth. It is 58 times harder than anything naturally occurring in our Earth's atmosphere and on our planet's surface. So any April birthdays, you were insanely tough motherfuckers. So rock on, props. So for my first recommendation, I picked one of the toughest books and the most exhausting books I've ever read in my entire life. And that is Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire. I have a full book review on this. I will link it up here in the corner. It's an old one. It's back when I started my channel back in 2016, so don't judge me. But this book was so emotionally and physically exhausting that when I found that when I was studying up on the diamond, I was just like, man, it's got to be a hard book. And this book might not be hard for everybody, but this thing was a fucking chore for me. But God, was it fucking spectacular. This is literally the life and times of the Wicked Witch of the West. It starts from before she's born and ends when she dies. Spoiler alert, she dies. If you ever seen Wizard of Oz, you already fucking know that. Except this takes a story of Wizard of Oz that you know and love and turns that shit on its head and makes you watch it backwards. Holy shit. Don't go into this thinking you know jack shit about the Wicked Witch of the West, because you know nothing. Nothing. Dorothy was a pansy. She was a pawn. And Elphaba, who's the Wicked Witch of the West, is the shit. Okay? Elphaba is our main character. She's the Wicked Witch of the West, and her name actually originated from the first syllables of the author of Wizard of Oz, which is L. Frank Baum. So you have Elphaba, and that's how you got her name. This was turned into a musical, Tony Award-winning musical. It is beloved by many. This thing holds such a special place in my heart. The book and the musical itself. The musical, I actually sang the song For Good at my high school graduation because it's so poetic and it's so fitting, and that is my song. Okay, I rock that. I'm gonna sit here and say that I rock that. At least I think it did. Every set I did. I didn't actually ever hear the playback. So, but yes, so we have the entire life story, and it is a journey. It is painful. It is happy. It is sad. It is torturous. It is spicy. It is everything that you want, and it's fucking exhausting. This is one of the toughest books I've ever had to read to get through of my own free volition. I freely chose to read this book. I was not assigned it. So for me to say that this is a tough book, you know, it's tough for me because I was so exhausted going through it, living that life. And for the most of the time, I felt like I was eavesdropping on most of the conversation. It was insane how this book sucks you in, but also makes you feel like you're not wanted. It's insane with the way Gregory Maguire writes. He writes so much detail and so much depth of knowledge of this book that you feel like you are part of the conversation, you're there, and then in a split's notice, you feel like you are seriously interfering and overhearing and kind of being like, I shouldn't be part of this, but I really want to, and then you feel guilty about it. It's the gamut of emotions for this book. I have such a great memory with this book, such a fun time. Again, I have a full review. I'll link it in that card in the down box below. You can go check it out. But yes, for my Diamonds in the Rough, here's one of the toughest books I've ever read, just for you. All right, now we go to the name of diamond. The diamond got its name from the Greek word adamas, I think is how you say it, which means invincible or unbreakable. And when I was trying to think of a book describing invincible or unbreakable, a lot came to mind. A lot of them. I could have picked any Sarah J. Maas book, you know, any of her female characters are invincible and they're unbreakable and they always rise to the top, but I wanted something stronger than a Sarah J. Maas character. And so I went to some of the smallest creatures on the planet. The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R. Tolkien. This is the beginning of the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings. And this, we get introduced to Frodo and his band of little hobbits. And they are assigned their challenge of carrying the ring to Mordor to destroy it. These little halflings are destined with the greatest challenge. And they are fucking invincible. Not only does the ring make you invisible, it can, if you use it, but you're not supposed to fucking use it, okay? You're not supposed to use it. It's the ring of power for a reason, okay? But they go through so many trials and tribulations that someone of their size and someone of their background should never have encountered. But yet, because they were so innocent and they were so pure of heart and so pure of thought, they were able to slip right by and never be noticed. And I just thought that was amazing. The Lord of the Rings is very, very poignant to me and my husband. Our first date was actually watching the Hobbit marathon. And as our relationship progressed, it became kind of a map of our relationship. On our first anniversary, I gave my husband the key to the Lonely Mountain as he had the key to my heart. And when he proposed to me, I gave him the stone that Keeley carries that says in Dwarvish to come home to me. Because in my mind, I'm your fiance now, I'm your home. And when we got married, I gave him the Arkenstone, and both of us in our own written vows, without knowing it, claimed each other as Lords of the Rings. So this is a long-standing thing with me and my husband. So because me and my husband are invincible when we were working together, this is the only book I could have picked for Invincible and Unbreakable, because their bond was unbreakable, and the bond that this story gave me and my husband is just as unbreakable. So I love it. And I hope you enjoy this one too. If you've not read it, you should probably go pick it up. The movies are also fucking phenomenal. Just saying. The color. So as you can see, I'm kind of wearing a silverish. Diamonds are usually white and sparkling, but they can come in a variety of colors. And that is what I wear. I wear Levian chocolate diamonds. They are my favorite. They have always been my favorite, and they are literally every single diamond that I have. So I rock this coppery brownish tone diamond, but they also come in blue diamonds, pink diamonds, green diamonds, but the most typical diamond is this guy, this bright, shiny, almost like a star. And this is what we call transparent or colorless. So when I was trying to think of a book that represented this, there's only one that came up to mind, transparent and colorless, and that is The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. Looks like this. This is about Griffin, who is a scientist that creates a serum that turns him into being invisible, and the rest of the story is literally his descent into madness and everything that craziness and follows. This is a classic for a reason. The first time I read this, I was in college, and I have never reread it since, but it's always held a special place in my heart, as The Invisible Man is one of those crazy stories, because I'm not gonna lie, if I had a superpower, invisibility is up there. I don't know if I'd pick it, but it's fucking up there, okay? It is up there. So, for my color, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. If you have not picked this one up, you probably should, because it is a classic for a reason, and it is a hell of a story. And if you like crazy, there you go. Now, diamonds can be found about 75 miles below the Earth's surface in rock, alluvial deposits, and glacial tilts and kimberlite pipes. They do have to be mined. for it. And so when I was thinking about what book could represent 75 miles below the Earth's surface? Mining. Well, I could go to Lord of the Rings because we do go into some of the mines. I even go to The Hobbit. No, I went with another classic, Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. There you go. This is following Professor Lindenbrock. Yeah, I think that's how you say his name, Lindenbrock. And he stumbles across a manuscript written by a 16th century explorer who claims to have found a safe passage to the center of the Earth. So the Earth's crust, or the Earth's core. And he takes his nephew, Axel? Yes, Axel, and their native guide, Hans, I cannot pronounce this guy's last name, Bjakel. I'm sorry, I've always butchered that name every time I read this book. I just call him Hans B. Okay. From Iceland through a volcano, where they go into a world where they see luminous rocks, forests from before the biblical flood, and they learn the secrets that time holds and the secrets to human existence. And this is a trip and a fucking half. This story, if you are a sci-fi person, if you are an adventure person, if you like the weird and the crazy and the real being turned on its head, you're gonna fucking eat this book up. Oh my God, this thing was phenomenal. First time I read this book, I was a junior in high school, and I have reread it twice since then. My dad told me I needed to read it when I was looking for a book to do a book report on. He's like, hey, read this fucking thing. It's a classic for a reason. Have fun. And I was not disappointed. This thing is amazing, and I highly recommend it. And if you've ever seen any of the film adaptations, they do not do this book justice. But some of them, they're pretty entertaining. I mean, Brendan Fraser's in one of them, and he's pretty nice to look at. So there's that. Yeah. So Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. There you go. 2 thumbs up. Love this book. Great fucking time. Now, diamonds are found 75 miles below the Earth's surface in mines and all these other things, but how are they formed? Why are they the toughest substance naturally occurring on the face of the planet? That is because they are made of 99.9% carbon and is making it one of the purest gems of all the gemstones. They are formed under extreme temperature and pressure. So you could turn a piece of coal into a diamond. You could. You give enough pressure and you get enough heat, instant diamond. Also time. There's a lot of time involved. So when I was trying to think of a book that featured a lot of temperature and pressure, I was sitting there just going back in the recesses of my mind for this. And then my husband finally said, he's like, it takes high temperatures. Pick one of the steamiest books you got on your shelf. Sometimes my husband says really smart things. I like to think it's me rubbing off on him, but sometimes he does make a point. So then I started thinking about my steamiest books on the shelf. And I have a lot of them. I have a lot of steam, but I wanted the pressure too. I wanted to include that because that's important. That's a crucial piece to the creation of a diamond. And that's when I dawned on this one. And that is Sierra Simone's Priest. This is the first installment to the Priest series. This is one of my favorite books in 2022. The steam in this is beyond amazing, okay? But there's also the internalized pressure that Father Tyler Bell puts himself through. We follow Father Tyler Bell, who meets one of his parishioners, Poppy, and is instantly infatuated with her. But there's also this deeper connection. Poppy is looking for forgiveness and enjoying the fact that she likes to be sexual. She likes the dirty. She likes to be degraded. She likes to be praised. She likes to have men throw money at her and lick her seam to seam, okay? She enjoys this and she wants it. And she's confessing this to Father Tyler Bell, who, by the way, happens to be a gorgeous priest. Just saying. And his vow of chastity is put through the ringer. And in many eyes, he fails by succumbing. But the pressure that he puts himself under and is put under, because I'm a firm believer you're not given anything that you can't handle, is so intricate into building this relationship because there is so much guilt. There is so much pain. There is so much ecstasy all thrown in to one. And it is amazing what Sierra Simone does with this story. There are scenes in here as being a Roman Catholic that I should cringe at and say, what the fuck am I reading? Oh my God, this is sacrilege. But the way she writes it, it makes me think, why is this wrong? Why this beautiful act between two people is considered immoral and wrong because he took a vow of chastity to another priest? He wouldn't have been given these things and these urges if they weren't meant to do something. And this book made me think so much about my faith and kind of some of the stuff I've always grown up believing. And also mentioned it's fucking hot as hell, okay? This thing is literally burning my fingers as I'm holding it. I love this book. I adore this book so much because of the pain, because of the pleasure, because of the sex scenes, because of the journey that Father Tyler Bell makes. He goes from one end to the other, and he realizes that through all of this, that he made a mistake, that he didn't hear the right call. He thought he did, but the call he was hearing, he misinterpreted. And I just thought, that was so profound and so amazing. When I read this book, I just love this book. This book is a diamond in the rough if there ever was one. If there ever was one, it's right fucking here. This thing is phenomenal. I love this book. I cannot speak highly of this book. Now, I did not give this book 5 stars because it gave me an HEA that I did not want, and I hate the name Poppy. Okay, just a thing I have. I don't like it. But it does have a follow-up novella that happens 2 years after Midnight Mass that does kind of resolve some of my lingering dislikes for this book. So I am happy where I'm standing, and I will be Father Tyler Bell's little lamb any fucking day of the week. I'm telling you what God knows. This thing is amazing. I love it. I love it. Now to some myths and folklore about our diamonds in the rough. In Sanskrit, the diamond is called Vajra, which means lightning. And in Hindu mythology, Vajra was the weapon of the king of the gods. If you follow Greek mythology, lightning is the king of the gods of Zeus as well. And before the process of creating diamonds was discovered, a lot of civilizations believed that it was lightning that formed them. Lightning hitting the ground formed the diamonds. So with this one, I only have one fucking recommendation for you guys, and that is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Okay? Middle grade, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, first installment to this series. This is a beloved tale for many, many people. It's also by Rick Riordan, if I didn't say that. So we have Percy Jackson, who learns that he is a half-god, and he is the son of Poseidon. Once he finds this out, he's sent to a camp called Camp Half-Blood, where he's put through trials and tribulations with other half or demigods. Zeus's lightning bolt is stolen, and he is accused of it. And instead of taking that shit, he takes his band of merry men and friends and goes on a journey to find the lightning bolt and retrieve it and return it. Starting off a domino effect of a continuation series that has stolen the hearts of the world and teenagers and young adults and adults in of itself. This thing is phenomenal. This is actually my daughter's copy. We bought her these, and this is the first series that she's ever read completely through that wasn't manga within like one sitting. Like, she just could not stop reading these. She just read them so fucking fast. And I was so happy. I was like, I will buy you the rest of them. Here you fucking go. Here you go. Not that there's anything wrong with manga, but it was nice to see her reading something, the speed of manga, that wasn't manga, and her enjoying it. And we actually saw the movies, and we're going to watch the show. I think the show's not out yet, but when it comes out, we are making plans to watch the show together, because this was something that was special between me and her. So yes, Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief for diamonds. Fuck yeah. Pliny the Elder, you've seen him before in other previous Birthstone recommendation video. He makes an appearance a lot when it comes to gemstones. He's a Roman naturalist, and he described the gem of diamond as diamond is the most valuable, not only most precious stone, but of all things in the world. So with this, I wanted to recommend my most valuable book. All my books are valuable, okay? All of them, every single one of them. They all are important to me. They all hold meaning to me. Except there's one that came out recently that I'm particularly proud of and hold in very high regard because I had help in making it. And that is my friend, Caitlin Erin Gresham. She's now Caitlin Erin Mackey because she just recently got married. Congratulations. So I don't have the copy that actually says Mackey. I have the original copy of her Second Chances. I met Caitlin through TikTok and she was looking for beta readers and I showed her one of my videos and she liked the way I broke down books. So she asked me to alpha read for her and I alpha read this book. The first part we worked through tirelessly. We spent hours every night on FaceTime talking through ins and outs, moving pieces around, putting things together. And then she asked me to help write a few scenes that she needed help with. So I am actually I am labeled as a contributing editor in this book. There are 2 scenes in here that I wrote with her guidance of her characteristics of what she wanted with the scene, and then I wrote them. So this one's really special to me because my name's in it. And I've always wanted to write a book, so this is really, really special to me. And also, me and Erin became extremely good friends. She's already technically got married, but she's having an actual ceremony for guests and everything, and I get to be in her wedding party. I get to stand up with her as she gets to say her vows in front of all her family and friends to the man that she loves, who helped inspire this book. And I got to help her heal through her own painful journey through this book, and she let me be part of it and put my name on it. So this is really, really special to me. So this is my diamond. And so I wanted to share it with you. And if you've not picked it up, you can get it on Kindle Unlimited. And it is a second chance romance with a 10-year age gap. There is triggers for rape, sexual assault, domestic abuse, and there's fat shaming. There's a lot. And there's also some seriously graphic content that I help contribute to. So have fun with that. But yeah, this one's very special to me because it has a story behind it. It's not just the story that matters. It's the story behind this one that matters to me. And that's why it's so precious. And I wanted to share it with you guys because maybe it might be precious for you. All right. So we all know diamonds are a girl's best friend. Okay. We all know this. We've heard it. There are songs about it. Marilyn Monroe said it. I don't know what movie, but she fucking said it. And, well, for hundreds of years, the diamond has been the quintessential stone for an engagement ring. Not my engagement ring, have you? I have a chocolate diamond, because I had to be that weird one. As my husband said, he's like, you couldn't just like a fucking diamond. Thanks. I had to go to a specific store, a specific area. Great. Thank you. You're expensive. He loves me anyway. And it's believed that the first engagement ring containing a diamond was actually given by Archduke Maximilian of Austria to his fiancée, Mary of Burgundy, in 1477. So because of diamonds being a girl's best friend and being the popular engagement stone of choice, the only book, and don't hate me for this, don't hate me, that I can recommend for this is Twilight. This is by Stephanie Meyer. If you are not familiar with Twilight, let me just give a rundown. This is a YA paranormal romance that swept the nation when I was in high school. I did not read these books originally when they came out. I read the first one. I read Twilight, and I hated it. I was like, this is fucking annoying. But when I became a stepmother, I found out that my daughter's biological mother was a huge fan of Twilight. It was very, very important to her. And the 10th anniversary was coming out. So we watched all the films together. And I thought it'd be really fun to read the books together and kind of share that. So it had a different memory than just growing up with them. So I got them all on audio and my daughter checked out. And I just kind of kept listening and finished all of them. Are they the best written books? No. Are they politically correct in areas? No. But did they speak for a generation that I was a part of? Abso-fucking-lutely. And yes, the vampires sparkle, but it's because their skin is made of diamonds. And Edward was her gift. Bella and Edward. That's the thing. That's the triangle right there. Bella, Edward, and Jacob. I was always Team Jacob. Sorry, I was always Team Jacob. He was the only non-vampire I've ever picked. But I had to recommend this one because it fits so perfectly. With their skin being diamonds and the love that Edward had for Bella and the strength that Bella ends up showing throughout the series. Bella starts out as this weak, pathetic human, and by the end of the series, she's one of the most powerful ones. And it was fucking amazing to see her grow through the series. And reading it as an adult, yes, I saw all of the cringy, creepy flaws. But I still also saw the sweetness, and I saw the story that captivated teenage girls. I saw it. So it's always going to be a guilty pleasure for me, just like my super expensive jewelry. So I had to recommend it. Diamonds are often also given as the 60th and 75th wedding anniversary gifts. So I wanted to give you a recommendation based off of those as well. And so I decided just to go to my videos. So the 60th video I've ever recorded was my June 2022 wrap-up. And the book from that I am recommending is The Highlander Sword by Amanda Forrester. This was a blind date with a book that my friend bought me, and I ended up really, really enjoying. And it's the first in the Highlands trilogy. We feature an arranged marriage and a miscommunication trope that actually works. I know a lot of people don't like miscommunication tropes. They think they're annoying. But this miscommunication trope is not between the two parties involved. It's actually everybody else around not telling the two parties involved what the fuck is going on. Because we have Isla and Peyton. Isla is an only child, and she has been raised her entire life believing she was going to become a nun. And Peyton is a warrior who's come back to help out Isla's father protect his farmland. So as payment for this, Isla's father says, "You can marry my daughter." Peyton looks at her and says, "She's cute, I'll take her." And then they literally go get married. Isla woke up that morning thinking she was being a nun. Ended that day, a married woman having no fucking idea what to expect on a wedding night, have no idea what to expect in a wedding hall, in a wedding feast, in a dining hall she was never even fucking allowed to be in, not knowing a goddamn thing, and then it just kind of spirals from there. This is a fun story, and the miscommunications sometimes are really funny. There's some funny moments in this book. I had a really, really good time with this one, and I plan on continuing with the rest of the series, but this is definitely one you should check out, especially if you like Scottish romances or Scottish historical romances. Another reason to look into it, but definitely a fun one. And my 75th video was my August of 2022 TBR. And on that TBR, I was reading Of All the Faiths and None by Andrew Tweedale. It looks like this. So I'm recommending this book off of that TBR. I have a full book review for it, and you can see it here, and you also see in the link down below. This is historical fiction set in World War I, and we feature graphic wartime violence and also graphic depictions of wartime experiences, because we're not only just seeing the violence from the war, we're seeing what happens back home and all the emotional experiences and the emotional damage that is created during wartime, especially during the magnitude of World War I. We also feature domestic abuse, and the story is told through episodes. So you'll find that they're not really connected, but eventually start connecting very, very well. So it's kind of like a television show, very episodic. I do recommend going and seeing that full book review. And it was my first book review that I did for Readsy Discovery, so I'm really, really proud of that one. And this book, turns out, is actually the start of a trilogy, and the next installment has not come out yet, but when it does, I am planning on picking it up. And this white feather was the reason I picked up this book, because I want to know what it meant. And so in this book, you also learn a lot about very random small moments in history. So if you're a history buff and you like finding the odd and weird moments in history that you don't get to hear a lot about, this one is chock full of them. Drago Castle, the White Feather Society, all of that. Definitely a fun one if you love historical fiction. And the romance in it it's not super spicy, but it's a good time. All right. And my last recommendation is my author spotlight. Every Birthstone recommendation, I like to spotlight an author born in that month. And this month, I picked William Shakespeare. Now, there is some debate of when his birthday is, but we are for sure of when his baptism is, and that was April 26th. And the book I have chosen to represent William Shakespeare, and he's got tons, is Taming of the Shrew. That is one of my favorite William Shakespeare plays. I absolutely adore that one. And that follows Padua, who holds many suitors for the hand of fair Bianca. But Bianca may not be married until her spinster sister Kate is wed. The witty adventurer Petruchio, I can't say his name correctly, undertakes this task. He is set out transforming Kate from a foul-tempered, basically shrew, into a loving wife. And young Lucentio and his clever servant plot to win Bianca. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, is because 10 Things I Hate About You is a modern-day retelling of The Taming of the Shrew. And I grew up loving that movie. It was one of my favorite movies. I absolutely adore that movie, and that's what turned me on to The Taming of the Shrew, and I've been a fan of The Taming of the Shrew ever since. But it is the one Shakespearean play that I have not seen live. So I need to go see it live eventually. But that is my recommendations for all my diamonds in the rough. So I hope you enjoy this. And if you have an April birthday and you decide to pick up any one of these, let me know. Let me know what you thought, because I cultivated them around your birthstone. You guys are rock stars in your own right. Just because you have a birthday in April and you never know what the fuck you're going to get. I mean, you really fucking don't. You don't. So that's just got to be maddening in of itself. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys all next month for my birthstone, the emerald. Bye, guys.